Hey folks, I've got another testimony of the power of God at work in our lives and ministry, and this time I wanted to talk about an encounter I had at a gas station. So we were on our way back home from a weekend of ministry in Tennessee, and if you've read my book, The Gospel of Survival, you've heard this story as part of my testimony and the miraculous things God does. And anyway, I got done preaching at this church. Service went way over time because that's just how I do things sometimes. And at the end of the service, we get back to our host's home, and instead of the typical honorarium to get us back on the road and get us back home, he handed me a Dr. Pepper and told me to get the hell out of Tennessee and not come back. So I must have preached really good because people got healed in that service and they didn't believe in that, so it was a really big insult to their theology. But anyway, we had just enough money to get there, and I had to hustle to make that money to even get down there and make that trip. So we had zero money to get back home, and we were in a big V8 conversion van, and let me tell you that we did not have enough gas to make it back home. It was already pretty late in the afternoon. It's about a 6-hour trip home. And so we knew that we'd be getting home pretty late when we did get home. So anyway, we jumped in, and as I often tell my family, I drive by faith and not by sight. So I just took off, and we hit the road, and you know, the typical doubts and frustrations creep in. Robin was really kind of just not knowing everything that's going on, because I just don't tell her everything, or I didn't at that time. So I start hearing a lot of nagging, and I'm gotten pretty good at blocking a lot of that out. Not always, but sometimes. And I just kept on driving, and finally we hit a point to where it was do or die time. And most people just would have pulled into the gas station and maybe just waited or called family or somebody. Well, I knew nobody'd come to get me that far away. Anyway, I pulled up straight to the gas pump. I just had a feeling that God had this taken care of. I just really wasn't all that worried about it. It wasn't that I felt the presence of God in the moment or anything. I just had enough faith to know that, hey, I wouldn't have been sent down here, and I wouldn't have had the confirmation of what had happened with people getting healed in that service and everything up to this point without him already having all this under control. So I just pulled up to the gas pump and waited, a little impatiently, but we waited. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes go by. Now I'm a lunatic because I never got out of the car. Robin's wondering what the heck I'm doing. I told her just shut up and wait. I said, let's just see how this plays out for the most part. And within minutes, somebody peels into the parking lot at a pretty good clip. They jump out of their car in their pajamas, looking around kind of frantically, and I knew that was my divine appointment. So I jump out of the car, walk straight up to the guy, and he just points and says, "You're the one I'm supposed to help?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "The Lord woke me up, and I'm to deliver this." And he handed me a $50 bill. And wouldn't you know it, that's exactly how much it took to fill my gas tank up. So that was more than enough gas that I needed to get home at that point, and God is good. So the miraculous can happen at any moment. Simply have the faith of a mustard seed and believe the promises of God. Doesn't matter what you go through in the meantime. Just know that He's got it all worked out in the end. So anyway, that's another power encounter. See you next time.